Welcome. This is Vulva Views with Amy and Allison. How are you today, Allison?
I am feeling fantastic, actually. I just spent the past 4 days in a Thai temple in Boston with a monk, a master monk, and monks and nuns that I have been practicing with for about 27 years, and finally met in person in December, and they visited Boston and invited me to come meditate. So I am in a simultaneous state of incredible relaxation and yet trying to get my nervous system to regulate back to being with my small children.
Well, it sounds like just such a wonderful, wonderful few days. Oh my goodness.
It is.
Yeah.
And what I also love about this is that the person that we're going to speak to today is a healer. And it feels really fortuitous to be coming back from this experience to speak to someone else who has a journey of wanting to heal themselves and then healing others.
Yeah. And in mind, body, and spirit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Great. So please, if you have any comments or questions today about this episode or any episode of Vulva Views, please write us to comments@radiofreerhinecliffe.org. And please like us, share us with whatever podcast app you are listening to. So I'd like to introduce our guest today. Lin Chen is a second-generation Taiwanese American, certified Reiki practitioner, and CEO and founder of Pink Moon. Her Pink Moon journey started on a path to her own self-love. She integrated traditional Chinese medicine, crystal healing, and Reiki into her daily life to help guide her healing process as she left toxic relationships that negatively impacted her mental and emotional health. As she removed blocks from her everyday life, Pink Moon came into focus as a rich combination of all the modalities Lin loved. Hi, Lin. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
So we love to hear people's journeys. How did Pink Moon come into being? Have you always been in the healing, sphere? Can you tell us about yourself, please?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I've been working in the beauty and wellness, or specifically holistic beauty and wellness industry for the bulk of my career. So now it's been a little over a decade. And I just really wanted to start a company. So in 2017, I launched my first company. It was also called Pink Moon, but it was a consultancy where I had advised over 20 various female founders, specifically in the beauty and wellness industries, on their growth, business development, sales, marketing, and PR. And prior to that, I was in a series of toxic relationships that really negatively impacted my health, my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health. And all these relationships were codependent. I didn't really, learn how to be independent and navigate my own life. And so I had, after the last breakup, I had made a list of things I wanted to accomplish before turning 30. And one of them was to launch a company. And so it was kind of happenstance that I launched the first company in 2017. I had already been checking things off on that list, traveling solo, dining at a restaurant alone, going to bars alone. And so I started doing all these things alone. I thought, okay, maybe this is a good time to start my own company. And then that's when the first Pink Moon launched, 2017. And then this now company launched in mid-2020. I had seen this growth in natural holistic beauty care and personal care, and wanted a company that really celebrated my roots of traditional Chinese medicine and also celebrated the different healing modalities like Reiki and crystals and astrology, and combining them, integrating them into different products to help others heal and learn to put themselves first, and just really, create a company that's all rooted in self-love.
That is absolutely sensational.
Admirable and inspiring.
Speaks to my soul. I wanted to ask you, and I'm sure that listeners would like to know, where did the name Pink Moon come from?
Yeah, so every April there is a full moon that's called Pink Moon. So every month there's a full moon, and it's, it could be like harvest moon, which I believe is in October, and then June is strawberry moon. And so each month the full moon has a different name, and it represents different things. Like, so in April, the pink moon, full moon, represents growth renewal and also the divine feminine. And so I just felt like that name was so fitting. And also, when I was making my list of potential company names, I was listening to Nick Drake's Pink Moon album.
Oh, yes.
And
That's
so
what
I was like, wow, Pink Moon fits perfectly.
It's funny because when Amy sent me your bio and I read it, that is one of my favorite songs, is Pink Moon by Nick
Mine too.
Drake. And I also relate to the moons in the way that you're speaking. And so again, I'm very enthusiastic about what you're doing. But it's been such a gift because since I've read your bio, every now and then I'm singing Pink Moon in my head again, and it's bringing me so much peace and joy. So it's like the ways that we help and heal each other when we're not even aware of doing so has been lovely. So thank you for what you've done.
Yeah. Thank you.
So I can't help but ask about toxic relationships. All of us have had them. And thankfully, most of us learn from these experiences. Can you unpack it a little bit more for us? Because not everybody responds to toxic relationships by starting companies. But this was one of the ways in which you moved forward. Can you speak a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So it took me 3 experiences, 3 toxic relationships to really wake up and be like, okay, this is not healthy. And the last 2 relationships were very codependent, or some, the 2 men were both very manipulative, had a lot of jealousy issues, and just like were almost like grasping me, like holding on to me. And just like I, didn't learn how to be independent and didn't realize that these were not healthy patterns. And so after the last relationship was when like I was like, okay, this is it. I can't continue to do this because I was having depression, anxiety, and just like insomnia and just all these a host of health issues that I realized, okay, this is really impacting me in a physical way. And I can't keep repeating these patterns and getting into these unhealthy relationships. And so I was doing talk therapy, and in addition to talk therapy, I thought, okay, there must be something else to help me with like insomnia that's not taking sleeping pills or, taking any kind of medication. And so I had grown up with Chinese medicine, and acupuncture is something that I've always known about. And like my dad always sought out acupuncture instead of going to see his Western doctor. And people had been telling me, one of my close friends had been doing acupuncture to help her with insomnia. So I thought, okay, why don't I give it a try? And then it helped me significantly. And I also was dealing with a lot of period cramps and like migraines with every period. And I thought, like, I can't just keep taking Midol and thinking like Midol is not a long-term solution. And so I started doing acupuncture. I was doing acupuncture biweekly. I did a total of 12 sessions. And at the end of the 12 sessions, and this was in 2017, I never had these super painful period cramps. I don't have like insane insomnia. And then I don't get those period migraines anymore either. And so I just, saw how powerful Chinese medicine was. And then I wanted to try Reiki. And then luckily, I had a friend that had just completed her certification, and she was doing donation-based, Reiki sessions on close friends and family. And so she offered to do Reiki on me because I had also heard about Reiki, but didn't know, and also couldn't afford it. In New York City, a session of Reiki costs minimum of $200. And then I thought, okay, I can't afford this, and so I was looking what other things can I try and do to help with my healing. And then, just so happened my friend had just completed her certification. Then I tried Reiki with her, and it was like a huge weight lifted off my shoulders. And I just felt it was so transformative. And then crystals as well. I started carrying crystals around me in my pocket. I bought myself a rose quartz ring from Etsy, and rose quartz is a crystal that's very integral in the Pink Moon brand. And also rose quartz is tied to self-love and heart healing and compassion and kindness. And so I was, carrying rose quartz everywhere. I bathed with it. I had it in my pocket on my ring finger. And so just these tools and practices combined helped me to ultimately heal and just feel better about myself emotionally, physically, mentally, and spiritually.
Do you mind if I ask if you explain a little bit more in detail what Reiki is? Because I know You know Reiki. Yes, Amy? I know Reiki. I practice Reiki, but there's some people, even though it's an ancient modality of healing, and it's definitely surfaced more and become more globally used over the past couple of decades, I still think that a few people may not fully understand what it is, and it would be so helpful for you to explain that a bit more.
Yeah, so Reiki is a Japanese ancient form of healing. It's essentially moving energy. And it can be done virtually or in person. And it's essentially moving energy, negative energy out of your body and then pulling in light and just positive energy, positive vibes. And so it's really great for those who are grieving or, grieving over a loss or are confused. They feel like they have a mental blockage. So it's also really good for that because it moves out, negative thoughts and that negative energy that you've been holding. And it's just a really beautiful form of healing.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Does your husband practice Reiki, Amy?
Not technically, no.
Okay. But he works with energy. Yes. Okay.
Yeah,
I assume so, but I wasn't sure.
He's a classical homeopath. He's an internist by training, but he practices classical homeopathy and does a variety of healing modalities. But which I want to shout out to the fact that you were immersed in the world of Midol and anti-inflammatories. And you had the courage to say, I've got to figure something else out. Yeah. And Allison and I talk a bit about this on Vulva Views, about trying to expand healing, expand the way we see health and wellness. And it comes in so many different ways. And it's not easy because sometimes you look at that, if you will, that list of all the ways that people seek health, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's just overwhelming. But it sounds like your experience as a child helped direct you in particular towards some of these ritual healing modalities. And I think I kind of love the idea of talking about ritual and what Pink Moon does, which is mostly skincare, right? Because our skin demands it's not just a responsibility, but there's a ritual to it.
Yes.
Can we expand on that?
And I just want to add that is the largest organ of the body and a protective barrier for the physical, emotional, and spiritual body.
That's right. That's right. Yeah. Can you chat with us about ritual, skincare, the mingling, and with your company, Pink Moon?
Yeah. So when people look at skincare, I think they just think about washing their face and moisturizing it. They don't think beyond that. And, even for me, like when I was younger and, in a hurry, like in college, I just quickly wash my face and then apply my moisturizer and sunscreen and head out the door. But then when you do that, it feels like skincare is like a mundane thing you do every day, like almost like an obligation. So you could just take care of yourself really quickly or wash off the makeup and sunscreen. But we look at it in a very ritualistic way where you really take the time to wash your face and, like really massage your skin for 30 to 60 seconds and then like really be mindful about it while you're washing your face and then patting your skin dry and looking in the mirror and like really looking at yourself and giving yourself affirmations like, I love myself, I'm strong, I'm beautiful, and really turning that into this slow ritual that you enjoy and that you take time for yourself. And so it's, could be something 5 to 10 minutes, 30 minutes if you have a lot of time, but really turning it into something that you enjoy and that helps to relax you. And it's almost like a meditation rather than like, oh, I have to wash my face because I'm wearing makeup or I spent all day out in the sun and, picked up all this pollution and bacteria. And it's more of let me take care of myself. Let me take some time to meditate and reflect on the day and really take time to wash off the day and wash off everything that accumulated throughout the day, not just physically, but also mentally and emotionally.
Yeah,
that's remarkable.
It is remarkable. And also, as Allison pointed out, it's this huge organ, but also what lies underneath the skin of the face, the sinuses, lymphatics, muscles, nerves, that all need to be, if you will, cared for. And so, whether it's massage or using products like yours that are clean and you know where they come from. All these things are part of that beautiful ritual.
And you know what I thought of? I have a 12, if I may share, I have a 12-year-old who is currently obsessed with skincare. I mean, she and her friends negotiate how to convince their parents to buy them skincare for their birthdays instead of gifts. We are missing Pink Moon in the house, but now I'm absolutely going to add it. I may replace everything she has with your products. But I really sincerely, I mean that, because I so appreciate the element of the meditation and stepping away from the devices that these kids are so heavily influenced by and addicted to, and taking that time to remember the self-care, the self-love, the quiet, the cleansing, the purging, and to have a line that has so much meaning behind it. I mean, it's sensational. I mean it. I'm going to get some for my daughter.
In the website, I saw that you use this phrase, committing to compassion. And I think that's just lovely. Like if we'd all just commit to compassion for ourselves and for those around us, boy, what a different world we'd be in, right?
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah. Could you talk about the products, maybe tell the audience what kind of products are on Pink Moon, where they come from, kind of the mission of the, if you will, the alchemy of the products?
Yeah. So our very first product that we launched was our rose quartz gua sha facial tool. Gua sha is a really beautiful practice technique that's rooted in Chinese medicine, and this practice is from over 4,000 years ago, and it's a massage technique and also a way of lymphatic drainage and just really helping to release toxins, release stiffness and tension. And so that tool is the first product that we launched and is our number one bestseller. And then we launched our gua sha, Over the Moon gua sha facial oil to complement it shortly after that. And that facial oil, we sell it in a set with the tool called Over the Moon Gua Sha Duo. So that's our number one bestseller. And then we have a couple other products that's rooted or integrates Reiki. So we have these perfume oils that have crystals inside of them. We have one with amethyst, which amethyst is a crystal that's for grounding, also for opening the third eye, which is your intuition. And then we have our Over the Moon perfume oil, which has rose quartz. So it helps with heart healing and self-love, compassion, kindness. And these two perfume oils are charged with Reiki that I bless myself. And then they have the crystals inside of them and different essential oils. We also have our Midnight Melody 4-in-1 oil, which is something that we also launched shortly after the facial oil. So this oil is a beautiful massage, bath, body, hair oil. And then we have our Lunar Rose Mist, which is now currently sold out. It was our bestseller. We launched it a couple of summers ago, and this mist has rose quartz essence in it, also has a base of rose water, and there's a few Chinese herbs in there that help to release heat. So it's really good for the summertime.
I tell you, all I want to do right now
is release heat.
and like jump into a vat of all those things and just, even just the description of them, Lynn,
the names. I wanted to add how you have come up with names that are not Pink Moon, but that are still associated with the moon and Reiki is just beautiful and brilliant.
Yeah.
May I ask, where do you source the oil from? Where did you find the source that you knew would be right for your products?
Yeah, so the facial oil, I actually was making that in my own kitchen for about a year. When we launched in July 2020, I was making it in my own kitchen until I believe it was July or August of 2021. And I had sourced all the oils from a supplier in California that I trust. They have all organic. It's a female-founded company, and they also source most of their oils from female-founded like farms. And so that's where I source most of our oils from. So I'm really careful in our sourcing, making sure that it is organic or wild crafted wherever possible, and that ingredient is not extinct, because one downside with the growth of natural clean beauty is that a lot of ingredients, like the natural ingredients, are getting over
Oh, interesting.
what's that word?
Farmed or
Yeah,
utilized.
overfarmed.
It's
Yeah.
like
Yeah,
the Northeast.
overutilized.
We're down on Christmas trees. Did you hear about that?
I did.
Because people are just oversourcing, overbuying,
Yeah.
overcutting. I mean, all of these. It's tough because it's such a thrill to see all of these natural healing modalities coming to the West, and yet I hate to say it, but typical of the consumer mentality of the Western mind, it's like more.
Yeah.
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 Are there ways, if someone listening to Vulva Views today says, gosh, I really want to try one of these products, is there an opportunity for people to get like samples or smaller amounts of the product to test it for themselves?
Yeah, so we don't do samples, and that's something that I've grappled with for the last like year or so, because the thing with samples is that they're typically packaged in single-use plastic or single-use type of containers. So
Good for you.
for us being a sustainable company and really, caring about the environment, even though we get a lot of customers asking, is there a way I can test your products? I just tell them, well, if you're in, New York City or wherever we sell our products in physical stores, you can go there to, use their testers. But other than that, because of the single-use aspect of samples, we don't rate them.
I think that's great because it's another way of staying organic and protecting the environment while you're using products from the natural environment. So the cycle seems very natural and healthy to me. I think that's very smart. And also, you can't give away that much energy without, and very traditionally in Reiki, I am a Reiki master for about 25 years now. And similarly to the exchange of energy, you don't have to have money given to you from it. You can have someone like bring you fruit, a crystal, a gift. But the idea is that to respect the energy, to respect the healing, to respect the love by giving something in return.
An exchange. An exchange. Yeah. Well, it also you're living your mission statement. It's so consistent, which often companies in pursuit of money break down those mission statements.
They do.
So,
They say one thing, and then when it comes down to finances or profit, they will break it a bit or turn their back on it at moments. And I really respect that you don't do that. I wonder, you're a second generation Taiwanese woman, yes?
Okay. Yeah.
I would love to ask you, as someone who is a part of a culture that knows that these healing elements have been around for centuries and have been successful in healing for centuries, and now you are choosing to bring them forth to other people, those who may know about them and those who may not, and this is something new to them. What is that like for you? Is it ever a struggle if someone says like, well, I don't believe in Reiki or crystals and those energies? What is that like for you as this business owner?
Yeah, I mean, I know that everyone, it's ultimately your choice. You don't, believe in Reiki or you don't believe in astrology and whatnot. So I just say, well, Chinese medicine has been around for thousands of years. Reiki and energy, they've been around since, the day that Earth came about. And so it's just, I think I say it more of like, it's not really believing or not, because these systems have been around for ages. And, Chinese medicine is not something you believe in or not, since it's a system of medicine. And so we launched a tarot deck in 2022. And immediately after we launched it, we actually had a couple customers reach out and say, what is this? Like, I don't believe in tarot. You're a witch, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, like I obviously don't respond to those negative feedback, but it's like, it's kind of funny when we get comments like that, because it's like, okay, well, that's up to you. Like, that's your choice. Like, why are you telling us you don't believe in tarot? Like, it's not our problem.
Right. Good for you.
We're not forcing you to buy it. Yeah. It's just another illustration of how threatened and frightened people can be of something they don't know. And to some degree, those of us who embrace complementary alternative ways of healing or at least ask the questions about other ways of healing outside the allopathic model. And I was trained in the allopathic model, so I kind of lived and breathed it for a very long time. But what I've come to know is that it's not right for everybody. And moreover, giving choices, speaking about options is probably the most empowering thing I can do for anyone I'm speaking to around healing. Don't you think, Allison?
I do, absolutely. But I also believe in planting seeds.
Yeah.
So I think that especially the way that the world is now, and with the amount of suffering that is being experienced by so many different people, that it's also, allow people to believe what they want to believe, but it doesn't hurt to plant a seed.
Yeah.
And I think that planting a seed comes with creating a beautiful company like this, or being confident in saying to someone that doesn't believe, like, yeah, I read the tarot and I do have crystals in my bag, and that's okay. We can be different, but it's just, there's ways to open up people's hearts and minds in many different ways.
Sure.
Absolutely. And in a world where thankfully there's gender fluidity, do you speak to non-vulva havers in terms of your products?
Yeah, so initially when we launched, we were very focused on, women, like phases of life that women go through. And then over the past years, we've kind of shifted away from by women, for women type of messaging, which is what we launched with. And then, we're definitely open. We're an ally. And so we're not exclusionary, since I know that alternative forms of healing are, it is open. And so we're open to anyone. And we have plenty of customers who, don't have vulvas. And so, it's something that we really are grateful that we can cater to different.
Yeah, absolutely. The other thing I saw on your website was that you donate to different charities. Can you speak about that and how that feels and works with your company and those who buy your products?
Yeah. So I was raised to give back to those in need. And, growing up, my mom would have my brother and I gather all our toys and books that we didn't need anymore, didn't read anymore, into shoe boxes to donate them to Salvation Army and Goodwill. And then we volunteered in soup kitchens growing up. And so that has just always instilled in me to give back whenever I can. And I really wanted to create my business to be able to do that. And so from day one, we've been giving back to charity. Currently, we partner with a platform called Beam, where we're able to donate 1% of our revenue from each purchase to 4 charity partners that a customer would select at checkout. So the 4 partners that we have are the Loveland Foundation, which supports mental health care therapy for Black women and girls. And then we have Womankind, which helps to support AAPI women who are survivors of domestic violence in the New York City area. We have Animal Haven, which gives back to animals.
Wow.
That's big because I'm a huge animal lover. I have dogs my entire life. And then the last one is Saving Mothers, which helps to support expectant mothers in marginalized communities and giving them resources to be able to have a safe birth.
Wow.
That
is incredible.
Just terrific. Because that's not easy when you're starting a company, to be so generous, quite frankly.
And to check all boxes in this way.
Yeah.
Down to animals. I mean, I'm just so touched and moved. And while you were talking about all of the generous donations that you give, I'm thinking to myself, this is the kind of company that survives but deserves to survive and grow, because the intentions are so genuine, and you can hear it in every response that you give, that it is so full of love and kindness and healing intentions.
That's right. Yeah.
It's really spectacular. I'm not just saying that to make the show sound good.
No, you imbue all that your company represents and speaks to. So that's that genuine nature is really profoundly respected by us. That's for sure. That's for sure.
Are there any new sort of exciting things that you might be willing to give a little hint about that would get people going like, ooh, I want to hear what that name's going to be of that product, or just a little hook, if you will?
So we have a product in the pipeline that I just finalized the formula of. It's a wash that would be a 5-in-1 wash: shampoo, hand wash, body wash, hand soap, and like a bath essence. So that's hopefully launching later this year. And then we hope to go into supplements and just launching more products that you could easily add into your daily life. And then we're also going to do a minor rebrand. I actually have to change the name Pink Moon.
Why?
Something else, because Pink Moon is the trademark is owned by another larger company.
I see.
The company's not even called Pink Moon. They have a collection of products called Pink Moon, and they own the trademark in skin and body care. Mm-hmm. We own the trademark for candles, because we did have a candle at one point. It was a limited edition launch. And then we also own it in retail marketing, I believe. And so, because my hope is to, sell Pink Moon down the road, and a requirement for that is to own the trademarks. And so,
Sure.
Yeah, planning to relaunch it to another company name, but it will still have the word moon in it, because that is such a
It's
significant
so
symbol.
Yeah, indeed.
Yeah.
This is going to be a blessing in disguise, even though I'm sure it was a bit jarring when you found out. I know someone with a company that went through this same exact experience. Do you know that Lake and Sky, the 1111 perfumes?
Yeah.
So that woman is a dear friend of mine. And when she first launched, it was a different name, and someone came after her legally. And she had to rebrand and restart the entire company. And after that, she found the incredible joy and success she's having. And so I think these things are, in any circumstance, it's a blessing in disguise. It's just so hard to see it when it's happening. So I'm very excited to see what you come back with.
Great.
Yeah.
So Lynn, if somebody wants to have access to the products now, can you remind the audience how to find these wonderful products? Please.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so our website URL is pinkmoon.co.
Great. Is there anything else, Allison or Lynn, that you think we should make sure the audience is thinking about and knowing?
Well, I'm hoping she'll come back when she relaunches to talk to us again.
Absolutely. You're going to have to tell us the new name, and we're going to
if you'd be willing, just letting the audience know that there's a possibility of a follow-up show with even more exciting information and background to share.
Yeah, I hope so. We have, a couple other things that I'm under NDA, but hopefully soon can share later this year.
Okay.
Very exciting.
When you're ready, and if you want to come talk to us again, please let us know, because I love a good follow-up.
Well, I'm also going to be extremely selfish. Since you are in New York City, you are very close to Rhinecliff, New York, where the Epicurean is.
Oh,
when
you
we
just
record.
that's right.
So we're going to invite you to come up and sit in the room with us, because the energy in this room is so delicious, and we would want Zoom works, but being here
in the energy is we're all just we're all healers in here. Yeah. So to have you in the space would be a tremendous gift.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would love that.
Great. Do you have anything else that you'd like to share with the audience before we kind of say goodbye?
I would just say make time for yourself every day, even if it's just 5 minutes, of whether that's breath work or meditation or gua sha or self-massage. Just make sure to set aside 5 to 10 minutes a day to take care of yourself.
I like that.
Beautiful.
So we end Vulva Views by reading a quote that feels pertinent, and it so segments or segues from what you just said. So Renee Rouleau, who is a model, says, "Be good to your skin. You'll wear it every day for the rest of your life." And, it's just true.
Darn true.
It's just true. Thank you, Lynn, for joining us. We're so, so pleased you could be with us today on Vulva Views. And I want to thank those who are listening to us, our co-producers, Maddie Rosenberg and Jen Hammoud, and also, again, the Epicurean, who so kindly takes care of us and houses us here.
Absolutely. Yes.
So until next time.
Yes. Thank you so much for coming. I am extremely grateful again, I just want to say. And thank you all for listening to Vulva Views. I'm Allison.
And I'm Amy.
Be well.
Thank you.